An artist, like the new cats, they call them an up-and-coming artist, someone that's just new in the industry. What should that person look out for when a record label comes to him or her saying, oh, I want you?
Well, the first thing here is self-assessment, because at the end of the day, you have to tell yourself the truth, because you are offering value to people, right? And you are expected to bring money back in return, right? You have to now look at, in what areas do I need to improve on myself, which is called artist development. Because at the end of the day, if people are investing on you and you are not doing your own part to check areas where you need development, after the expiration of that contract, you end up in debt and you must have to pay. So the first thing you do, the first need of every artist is artist development. You sit down, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? In what areas do I need to improve? And this improvement has to be audience or market based. Because if, for example, as an artist, you get signed and the record label has tailored your sound to, let's say, the Southwest, and let's say you're from the Southeast, right? It now requires you to probably learn a bit of Yoruba. That's artist development. Artist development is not a random activity. It's supposed to be targeted towards a market, to service a market. That's why you see that like a brand wants to advertise in the South. They will change the language from English to
their lingua.
Their lingua. You understand? That is product improvement in terms of serving that audience or that market. So every artist needs to look at that. Okay, I have been signed. Thank God for that. But what do I do? Self-retrospection, self-assessment, check out areas where you need to improve, right? Another thing that is important for artists is to have their own team.
Their personal team.
Yes, because the record label will come with their own people. And regardless of how you want to look at it, they are.
So because I like what you're saying right now, because there's a particular record label or particular group of people right now. As we stand now, there's a news of Ruga leaving leaving Jones and all of that. So this sort of thing, I've heard it before, where the artist already has his own guys before, while he was on the come up, he now has a record label. So don't you think there's going to be like a contradiction, a back and forth? Because now you have your own boys, probably have like 3 guys or 4 guys that have been in your team, they believe in you. You maybe have a producer, your own producer that knows you from scratch, now saying, nice sound with this. You now come to like a Jonesing World. Jonesing World now gives you their producer, their creative director. Team. Wouldn't there be like a, how does an artist work over that? Yeah, no, the thing that I mentioned earlier, that for anybody going into the music business, you must be able to set up formidable systems and structures that takes care of these things. Because as far as you're dealing with human beings, you must have disputes, right? So there are lawyers on ground to set these things straight. It's not an emotional thing, right? So when you release a song, the company takes this, you take this, and that's all. If you want to share yours with other people, that's your business, right? Because in terms of that's your business.
Right? Because you are signed to a label doesn't mean that you don't have the freedom to do some certain things that you want to do, except it's a 360-degree deal, right? If, for example, someone is signed to a label, right? They can attach, let's say, a tour manager to him, but he can have his own stylist, right? And he is paying the stylist from his own from the net income, right? Because the gross income comes in. The company splits everything to the producers and everything, right?
So he gets his cut.
And then he now shares his own cut with his own people. Because at the end of the day, you can't be signed to a label forever.
Yeah, true.
And there's no any label that doesn't want you to get to a point where you can be independent of yourself, thereby being able to learn the music business and support other artists. It's not a label you should even go into in the first place.
How do you support one?
The thing here is that you look at precedents, you look at their reputation. You understand? Right, and again, from the beginning, like they say in a pidgin, week will go good now. From Sunday you will know, right? So when they present a contract to you, and then like I mentioned earlier, ignorance is a big deal. So when you're going into the music business, do your own research.
Don't be so excited.
Don't just be carried away. Do your own research. There are some people that they just sign them just by come and let us vibe, and after you're vibing, they give you alcohol. You're chilling, and then before you know, you see paper. In that excitement,
you signed.
without telling even your day ones right? So you're in trouble now. You've signed a 4-year deal that doesn't even look like it's going anywhere. They just want to keep you there.
Why? Why do record labels do this?
Let's even talk about the contract thing.
Yeah.
Concerning that contract thing, because a lot of up and coming artists, not even up and coming, a lot of known artists, thank you, they are victim of this whole signing contract, and then the contract is against them, it's not favoring them. What should an artist look out for while signing a record label contract?
Look, I tell people that any contract that you can read and understand by yourself is a fake contract as an artist.
You've heard that too.
If you can read a contract and understand it as a layman, as an artist, it's a bad contract. Right? Because they have these legal jargons that are there that it's supposed to be complex for you. I understand that you would need an entertainment lawyer. Even if it's a one-line statement. In fact, the shorter the contract, the more dangerous it is to sign.
Okay.
Wow. Right. So now, what is the difference between a talent manager and an A&R? I really want to understand that.
Yes, and it's a good question because there's a lot of misconception around these things. Now, a talent manager looks at the daily or the overall operation of the artist.
Okay.
Okay, we're going here so tomorrow, we're doing this, and then he's looking at how these artists can become a better part of themselves.
Personally.
Yes, and even in terms of business. And then he also looks at how the artist interacts with other stakeholders in the music business, right? The talent manager is the person you call. The talent manager is the person who looks out for the artist, even to the emotional level.
Okay.
But the A&R plays a strategic role. A&R means artist and repertoire. The A&R is kind of like the artist development segment of the music business. So he looks at a raw talent and he says, look, there's potential here.
Yeah.
A talent manager can work with you without even knowing whether you're talented or not. You know how somebody comes and says, look, help me manage my business. So the person who is saying manage my business for me is not concerned about whether customers come or not. His own is that he is there in the money. If fuel finishes, he calls the boss to say, fuel has finished too. But what the A&R does is, how can this person, transform and be refined to what they can possibly be part-time?
How can this product sell?
They look at it and say, okay, when they're in a recording session, for example, you'd be like, okay, you've recorded this thing, it sounds really good. The manager is excited because the artist is excited. Because you can't, as a talent manager, not be excited when your artist is excited.
Okay.
So, and the talent manager works for the artist, but the A&R works with the artist.
The talent manager works for the artist. Why the A&R works with the artist? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what the A&R does is, okay, I think this guy has something, but we can turn it this way. We can bring somebody else, who can make this thing better. Is an A&R that will say, okay, look, why don't we get a talking drum? Why don't we have a live set? But a talent manager doesn't think about the technicalities of music production and the mixing techniques,
I guess
So the talent manager is just about, my artist is happy, my artist is doing fine, we're achieving our goals.
We're moving from
here to here, right?
Point.
If everything gets to a halt, he folds his hands too and then he chills. But the A&R ensures that the music is good.
But somebody can be both, yeah?
Yeah, you can be both, but at the end of the day, one requires you to be kind of emotionally attached to the artist.
Okay.
So if you're an A&R who is a talent manager, there are some things that you cannot probably tell your artist because you have to say, look, is this what I want?
It's advice that one person cannot just play both roles.
Yes, if you really want to be serious about your business, you have, that's why even some record labels have the A&R department.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Right? Because they are expected to produce a different result from what the talent manager is supposed to do. At the end of the day, all of these things sums to progress for the business.
For the brand
because
in general,
at the end of the day, the artist is both a business, just like how you have a company, you have the HR, and then you have the accounts. He is both a business, and then he is both somebody who needs to be trained. You know how A&R, how the HR will train the staff, so that the staff will now offer better service for the business to make more money.